Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really jumping into something fascinating, the world of digital vision. Specifically, how we capture it, what we actually do with it, and maybe most importantly, where AI is taking our ability to truly understand what those digital eyes are seeing. So our mission for you, our listener, is to take these pretty technical sources we have, mainly a detailed product spec sheet for a network video recorder and NVR, and really pull out the key nuggets. We want to get you really comfortable with the core of modern surveillance systems. But, and this is the exciting bit, our sources also give us this tantalizing glimpse into a related field, the cutting edge of AI and how it could completely change how we use visual data. How do we get from just recording stuff to actual understanding it?
Hmm.
Okay, let's unpack this.
That's a great way to put it, because these devices,
Yes.
like NVRs, they often fly under the radar, right? They're the unsung workhorses, just silently gathering massive amounts of critical visual info. And understanding their capabilities, how they actually work. It's not just about tech specs. It's really a shortcut to grasping modern security infrastructure. And honestly, just the sheer volume of data our world generates now, it really sets the stage for the more advanced stuff, the intelligence part.
Right, exactly. So let's kick things off with the basics. What is a network video recorder, an NVR? We're zeroing in on one model from our sources, the Uniview NVR502-16B. It's listed at around $639 USD, just for context. Basically, you should think of an NVR as the central nervous system, the brain of a professional IP surveillance setup. It's a high-performance box designed specifically to take in, record, manage, and store video streams from lots of IP cameras. It's not just sitting there recording, it's actively organizing all that visual input.
And that's the key takeaway right there. How these NVRs transform raw video, which is really just, pixels flying by into something organized, accessible, and critically actionable information for security. Without that central hub, all those fancy cameras, they'd just be gathering data alone. You'd never get a coherent picture or be able to react properly. The NVR brings it all together.
Yeah, makes total sense. And this specific Uniview model, the NVR502-16B, it really packs a punch in terms of capacity and efficiency. Let's start with cameras. It supports up to 16 IP camera channels. Now, for you listening, that's not just a number. It means this system is sized right for what our sources call medium-sized surveillance systems. Think about like a busy store, maybe an office building with a few floors or a decent-sized warehouse. This device can handle watching lots of key spots all at once, a pretty wide visual net.
16 cameras. Yeah, that's a significant amount of visual ground to cover.
Yeah.
And the constant stream of high-res video from that many cameras brings up the next big challenge immediately. Where do you put it all? Storage. This NVR is clearly designed with that problem in mind.
Absolutely. We're talking serious storage potential here. This model takes up to 2 SATA hard drives, and each drive can be up to 10 TB. That's a maximum total of 20 TB of storage space, 20 terabytes. Just to give you an idea, if you're running 16 cameras at, say, 1080p, that could potentially hold months of continuous high-quality footage. That's a massive visual history right there. But it's not just the raw space, it's how smart it is about using it. This NVR uses advanced video compression, Ultra H.265, H.265, and H.264. Now, the real insight for you here isn't just its safe space, it's that Ultra H.265 especially is way better than the older ones, sometimes like 50% more efficient than H.264, and you don't really see a difference in quality. What that means in practice, more video stored for longer and less strain on your network bandwidth, which is, critical.
And that really brings up a core issue for anyone designing or running these systems. How do you manage this huge amount of visual data cost-effectively over time? These compression technologies, they're not just tech jargon. They directly mean lower costs. You don't need new hard drives every 5 minutes. And better usability. Those high-res feeds don't clog up your network. You get faster access, smoother playback. It's fundamental, really. Modern data management 101.
And speaking of high-res, the decoding power is pretty impressive too. It can handle 2 streams at 16MP, or 4 streams at 4K, or all 16 channels at 1080p, all running smoothly at 30 frames per second. Think about watching live feeds or reviewing an incident. This is huge. It means you can watch, say, a critical doorway or a cash register in super sharp detail, while still keeping a smooth eye on the overall scene. No stuttering, no lag on your monitors. You're not just seeing movement, you can actually make out important details, stuff that could be vital evidence.
Yeah, that ability to decode multiple high-res streams at once, that's a game changer for control rooms. Operators don't have to choose between seeing the detail and seeing the whole picture. They get both. That means faster assessments, quicker decisions. Invaluable when things are happening fast.
Okay, now let's pivot a bit. Let's talk practical stuff. Accessibility, integration, user control. This is where it gets really interesting for day-to-day use. This Uniview NVR lets you do remote viewing through their mobile app or just a web browser. This is super powerful for you, the user, because it means you can literally monitor live feeds and access recordings from anywhere, as long as you've got internet. And it supports up to 128 remote users. That's a lot. Great for bigger places where different people need access, security heads, managers, whoever.
Right. That remote access piece, it immediately makes the system way more useful than just something stuck in a security office. It gives authorized people real-time awareness wherever they are. That speeds up response times like crazy and helps different teams work together on security, which is just essential these days with operations often spread out geographically.
It's also got great display options locally, dual video outputs, HDMI for 4K and VGA for 1080p, so you can set up multiple monitors in your control room however you need them. Very flexible. And here's a really critical detail if you're thinking about expanding later. It supports ONVIF protocols. This is a big deal. It means the NVR can work with cameras from lots of different manufacturers, not just Uniview. You're not locked in. Huge plus for customizing your system, growing it, or even using cameras you might already have. Freedom and flexibility.
Yeah, looking at the bigger picture, things like remote access and that ONVIF support. That's what really gives you flexibility and control in a real-world security setup. It makes the whole system adaptable. It can grow and change as your needs change without having to rip everything out and start over. Super important for complex places.
And finally, on the management side, it's got solid security with multi-level user management. Basically, role-based access. Your main security admin gets full control, but maybe a department manager can only view certain cameras, or a facilities person can only look at recordings from specific times. Keeps the data safe, stops people seeing things they shouldn't.
Absolutely fundamental. You have to protect that sensitive footage. It's not just about collecting the data. It's about controlling who sees it and what they can do with it. Without good user management, even the best NVR could be compromised internally. It's a cornerstone of a truly secure system.
Okay, now for a really, really vital piece of practical info, something easily missed. This specific NVR, the NVR502-16B, it does not have built-in PoE ports. What that means for you, the listener, is that external PoE switches are required to power connected IP cameras. You absolutely have to factor that into your planning. Budget, installation, the whole setup. It's like buying a high-performance engine, but forgetting you need a separate fuel pump and lines.
That is a perfect analogy, actually, because overlooking that, it can cause major headaches later. Understanding power needs, like power over Ethernet, PoE, is just essential if you're designing or setting up a system. It affects the wiring, the cost, the whole infrastructure plan. It's that kind of practical detail that saves you a world of pain during install.
Right. Now, beyond just recording, this NVR has some smart features too, stuff that really boosts the security value. We're talking intelligent video analytics, things like motion detection, line crossing detection, intrusion detection, even alerts if a camera feed is lost. Now, it's true these often rely on the camera having the smarts too, but the NVR is ready to handle that data. Plus, it has some cool advanced features like ANR, automatic network replenishment. This is clutter. If the NVR loses connection to a camera for a bit, the camera can record locally to an SD card and then automatically send that missed footage back to the NVR when the connection's back, so no gaps. And Cloud Upgrade makes keeping the system updated easier and safer, done remotely.
What's really fascinating here is how these analytics start to move beyond just passive recording. It becomes proactive. Think of motion or line crossing as the NVR's first sort of basic understanding of what's happening. This is where the system starts getting properly intelligent. It flags potential issues as they happen instead of someone having to watch screens constantly. Big enhancement. And ANR, that's a really robust feature for data integrity. Peace of mind against network hiccups.
So summing up where this fits best. The sources say it's ideal for medium to large-scale deployments. Think retail, offices, commercial buildings, warehouses, even across multiple sites. It really is a professional piece of kit. You see that in other specs too, like the alarm inputs and outputs 8 and 2 out for connecting other security gear like sensors or alarms. It has an audio input, one channel, plenty of USB ports for backing up data easily, USB 2.0 front, USB 3.0, and 2.0 rear, and a really wide operating temperature range, -10 degrees C to +50 degrees or 14 degrees F to 122 degrees F, shows it's built tough for real-world conditions, hot or cold. Okay, so we've really dug into this Uniview NVR. We understand its job as the robust digital eyes and memory for security. But what does all this data collection mean for the bigger picture? Where are things really heading with interpreting all this visual info? Well, our sources also pointed us towards another company, AlphaVision, and their work hints at a really fascinating future. AlphaVision, they were featured in Built Worlds for, and I quote, how their AI is transforming construction. Pretty cool. They're also going to be at GSX 2025, the big security show in New Orleans, end of early Oct 2025. And the key things mentioned about them are AI summary and AI agents. Sounds intriguing.
Right, so if we zoom out a little, the NVR, like the one we discussed, provides the high-quality, constant stream of visual data. That's the essential input. Companies like AlphaVision, they're building the sophisticated brain that takes that raw data and does much more than just detect motion. They're aiming to actually understand and act on it in fundamentally new ways. Their work in construction is a great example, using AI to analyze tons of site footage to track progress, check safety rules are being followed, maybe even predict delays just by watching how work is happening on site.
Wow, that's a massive leap, isn't it? So when they talk about AlphaVision's AI summary, what does that actually mean? What does it do? How does it turn, like, hours of boring construction footage into something useful?
Think of AI summary as like a super intelligent video editor. Instead of a person having to watch hours, maybe days of footage, the AI scans it all. It looks for specific things, maybe certain vehicles moving, people going into off-limits areas, or even changes in piles of materials. Then it boils all that down into the key highlights, an actionable summary. So a project manager can get the gist of the day's important events in like minutes instead of spending hours watching video. It's about cutting through the noise, finding the signal.
Okay, that sounds incredibly useful for efficiency. Definitely. And what about these AI agents? Are we talking robots walking around the site, or is it something else?
No, not physical robots in this case, at least not necessarily. AI agents here are more like autonomous software programs. They're designed to watch, learn, and then flag or even predict specific things happening in the video feeds. Think of them as digital observers, highly specialized, and they never get tired. So on a construction site, maybe one AI agent is trained to spot if workers aren't wearing hard hats in a certain zone consistently. Or maybe another watches a crane to see if it's being operated unsafely. It goes way beyond just motion detected. It's about recognizing patterns of behavior, safety issues, maybe even ways the workflow could be better.
That is genuinely groundbreaking stuff. So, okay, let's connect this back. We started with the NVR, collecting all that video. How could these AI insights, like from construction, eventually link up with or maybe even totally change the kind of analytics we see in security NVRs?
Well, this really raises some profound questions about the future of, intelligent spaces. Imagine your NVR is still there, doing its great job capturing and storing that sharp video. But now, layered on top, instead of just basic alerts for motion or line crossing, you have these AI agents constantly analyzing the feeds. They could be trained not just to see someone breaking in, but maybe to identify patterns of suspicious behavior before the break-in even happens, predicting a threat. Or think about a store. Instead of just an alert saying camera offline, maybe an AI agent analyzes customer movement to help optimize the layout, or spots potential shoplifting behaviors way earlier than a human might. It's a fundamental shift, really, from just reacting and recording to proactively managing and predicting, turning all that raw visual data into real predictive insights. It changes how we think about security, about efficiency. The NVR becomes a high-quality fuel for a much smarter engine.
Wow. What a journey in this deep dive, seriously. We've unpacked the NVR, the Uniview NVR502-16B, really understood its role, the digital eyes and memory. We covered its huge storage, the high resolution, the smart analytics, even those crucial practical details like needing external PoE. And then we got a glimpse over the horizon, where advanced AI, like from AlphaVision, looks set to completely transform how we get meaning from all that visual data. Whether it's making construction sites safer or revolutionizing security, we've definitely given you a shortcut to getting informed on this fast-moving area.
Yeah, what really stands out to me is just how quickly the ability to interpret visual data is accelerating. We saw the NVR fantastic at collecting and organizing huge amounts of high-quality visual information. But now think about the possibilities when that data isn't just analyzed for simple things like movement, but for complex behaviors, for predicting anomalies,
Right.
even for optimizing how people work, all driven by AI. What new questions does that raise for you listening right now about privacy, about efficiency, about the future of the spaces we live and work in? It's a lot to think about.
Incredible stuff indeed. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and we'll catch you next time for another journey into the world of knowledge.